My name's Carl Thompson, and this is my 1949 Diamond T pickup truck. I was lucky to bring it here to the Hilton Head Concours because I live on the island, so it was pretty easy. It was about a 5-mile drive to come in this morning. This truck has been in my family for 60-some years. My dad had it. I can remember driving it on our Indiana farm. And then he couldn't drive it anymore, and it just kind of sat and rusted. And after he decided to finally let me have it, it took about 13 years for me to restore it to what you see in front of you today. Basically, the beast of the truck up here is an original engine in this truck, and it was made in Canton, Ohio by the Hercules Motor Corporation. And it is a flathead 6. For today's youth, that would be about a 3.9 liter motor, okay? Cubic inches is a little bit strange, but everything in there is an original piece in this truck. So other than one piece on the fan blade there, that's because it no longer is in existence anywhere to be found, okay? The flat blade is there, but the actual pulley is not. So the interior of the truck is pretty sparse. There's not a whole lot of stuff in here. It is a 4-speed truck. The number of first gear would be a granny gear, if you will. You wouldn't really use that on the road at all. The instrumentation's pretty sparse also. I think my favorite feature in here is the crank out front windows on the truck, or as I call them, the air conditioning system. You know, so, and they actually work very good. If you're going down the road, even on a hot summer day, that air comes flowing in. It's pretty good as far as the feel. The parts and pieces in here, there's a guy in Amarillo, Texas that actually owns the rubber pieces and all the molds. So that floor mat was built as an original floor mat with the same molds that they built the truck in the beginning with. Same way with the other rubber pieces that you see on here. The Diamond T truck was made in Chicago, Illinois. Very few people know that. It's not a Detroit vehicle. It's not a Ford vehicle. It was their own company. They were famous back in World War II for building big 2-ton trucks, wreckers and fire trucks and such like that. Almost all of them came in this red, and one of the trademarks of this truck is the green stripe. You'll see it on every Diamond T ever built out there. And so the history of it was basically it was made for a farm truck. It came without taillights in the beginning. It came with the old school split rims. And one of the things I added to it was a seatbelt because my dad and my father, after driving it, told me I would bust my head on the ceiling. And he was right, you know. And so most all the trucks, they made around 7,000 of them total. Okay, I would say in existence there may be 100 still left somewhere in the world. Every once in a while I'll see one, but they pretty much all came in red. They all have that green trademark stripe on it. You can see we're down the back side of the truck here and everything. The bed I kept is original. There was a lot of rust on this truck, and so therefore these pieces up here that you see that actually have some sculpting to them, we cut that off the old bed because it was rusted out, and then we just built a new box back here. When I first got the truck from my dad, it was beat up pretty bad. I mean, because he was one to just throw a giant piece of metal in there and just let it bang around. So it has a 14-gallon fuel tank that we put in there in the back. It's fueled over here on this fender and runs down through there. And as I said before, it didn't come with taillights. It was meant to be a farm truck, and that's what it was meant to do. Doesn't have turn signals, but I did find 2 pieces. You could order the turn signals for this thing, or the taillights. You could find them. They did order them. So I managed to find 2 of them and put on there. So at least I can be halfway safe, but I still have to use my arm signals to do this. So to get around, which I found I do more of that than people use the regular turn signals for. One of the things that we did delete on here, I still have them, is the chains for the tailgate. We're just not going to use it as a truck anymore back there. And all that was going to do was bang around and hit the paint. You know, so we didn't wish to do that. I still have the original chains on it though, okay? But you can see it can haul a lot. It'll do about 2,000 pounds. Like I said, the leaf springs are 8 in the front, 13 in the back. So it's a stiff truck. It was made just like this, you know. And so, you know, it's a pretty good beast. I don't want to have to change a tire on it, you know, because it's all split rim and stuff, but I do have a AAA membership. So that's what I would do. The reason this truck is special to me is this was my father's truck. There's a picture of me standing on that front bumper with him, and I was 4 years old. And I have that picture. I cherish that picture. So it stayed in the family for 60-some years here, and it was used. I drove this when I worked on the farm as a kid. And then when I went to college, my dad couldn't drive it anymore. He had back surgery, and it got set in an open-air barn, and it kind of rusted out. And from that point, it took me, when I got it, when he finally gave it up to me, it took me 12 and a half years to get what you see here today in this truck. It took a lot of restoration, a lot of really smart people that knows what they were doing with fabrication and stuff to get it back to this condition. So one of the first things I did when it was finally done and it ran and would go down the road, was I was lucky enough to be able to have it shipped to northern Indiana, where my dad's still alive, has the big farm up there, and he got to hop in it after 51 years of never driving it. 51 years he ripped it down the road again. And he knew how to shift it because it's a double clutching shift on no synchronization. So he actually knew how to drive it. And it was kind of fun to watch him do that. He drove it 2 or 3 times and then he said, take it back, I've had enough. And that was it. But it was a good thing, and that he got to see it when it was horrible, and when he gave it up to what we have today. Okay, so this truck, with my dad having it that long and that stuff, and now myself having it, it's a family heirloom. And I hope to pass it down to my boys, someday. I have one son that's really into this kind of stuff, so I'm sure he'll take care of it also. But I enjoy taking it to local shows here on Hilton Head Island. I joined a car club in Bluffton, the Carolina Dreamers, and we do a lot of events. We're a big charity car club, and so this kind of goes to a lot of those kind of events. And the kids like it for some reason, even though it's old. They like it. I let them sit in it and get around. So if you see me around town, we're always doing something around town here on the island or just in Bluffton or something. And so come up, say hi, say you've seen this.